Good morning to all. I'm Himanshu Srivastav. Today we'll read the story The Summit Within by Major HPS Aluwalia. This video includes line-wise explanation of the story, summary, short answer type questions and long answer type questions. So let's begin the chapter. Now here introduction is the story is about the experience of Major HPS Aluwalia, who was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. In this lesson, he has talked about his experience of climbing the world's highest summit. He tells the readers how the physical conquest changes one on a personal and spiritual level. After talking about climbing the physical summit, he also talked about the task of climbing the summit within. Now, the line wise explanation. The author begins the story by telling the readers about the rush of multiple emotions he felt as he stood on the highest point of Mount Everest. The huge panorama below them made them feel little and modest. Climbing up to the top had made him so tired that his physical strength was glad it was over. Means after reaching at the peak, he was glad. However, rather than feeling proud and joyous of having climbed the highest peak, he could feel some sadness within him. The only probable reason for this feeling could be that he had now become proficient by climbing the highest point, and all the roads from that point will only lead downwards. The author writes that whenever he thinks about having climbed the summit of Everest, he cannot help but think about another significant summit, which is of the mind, the summit of mind, which is not easier to climb either. It is not any less challenging. Once he had climbed Everest, returned and recovered from the physical exhaustion, he began to ask himself the reason as to why he climbed the highest peak. What was the reason for climbing the highest peak of the world? It was quite difficult to understand why the accomplishment had such an impact on his imagination all the time. Even when it was a thing of the past, he knew that as each day passed, the experience would get old. At that very moment, he was unsure if the memory would remain or fade away slowly. All the thoughts that came into Arthur's mind made him ask himself as to why people climb mountains. It is not that easy to answer in the simplest way possible could be because it is there. Now, what is there? That answer they have to find. Climbing a mountain possesses great challenges, and we all know that overcoming these obstacles brings pleasure to climbers. In climbing a mountain, these obstacles are physical, such as tolerance, willpower, and determination to keep you going. The exhibition of these physical qualities and one's awareness towards them, on the other hand, is thrilling, and same was the case for the author. Means he was feeling a kind of awareness also, but he was thrilled too. The author seems to have a more personal answer to this question as to why he wanted to climb mountains. He had been immensely attracted by mountains since his childhood. He used to feel lost and unhappy in the plains when he was away from the mountains. He feels mountains are nature in its best form, although their magnificence and beauty pose a significant challenge. The author, along with a lot of people, believe that mountains provide a platform for sharing personal thoughts and feelings directly with the God. Now, once having found out why to climb mountains, the question, why Everest? It remains. Probably because it is the highest in the world and has resisted many attempts of people trying to climb it. To reach the summit of Everest, it asks for every bit of energy in one's body. It means it takes every bit of energy. It is a hard struggle with ice and huge rocks. Once you have taken this hard challenge, there is no option for you to give up midway, even if life is at stake, because backward, the passage backwards possesses the same difficulties and challenges as the passage upwards. When finally, after overcoming all these obstacles, one reaches the summit, there are feelings of accomplishment, excitement, joy, victory, and happiness. There is a feeling of having fought a battle and won. The author mentions how looking at another peak transported him to another world. He experienced a change within himself which can only be called mystical. Means it was just a mystery. The peak attracted the author to itself with the help of its greatness, beauty, serenity, and the difficulties it possesses on the way. He says it was a challenge, means that challenge that was difficult to resist. The author looks back and discovers that he had not yet revealed why he actually climbed Mount Everest. He compares it by asking a question as to why one breathes or why one helps their neighbors or why one does a good deed. The same he found. It is impossible to find an answer to these questions. He also mentions the fact that Everest is not just a physical climb, but it changes the person in a way that makes him aware how small he and his problems are in this infinitive universe. Means the climbing the mountain was telling your position in the world, in the universe. The overcoming of physical barriers is only one bit of the accomplishment. There is a lot more to it, like the sense of accomplishment, the satisfying urge to rise above the current circumstances. It is the never ending desire for adventure in a person. So the experience is not just physical, but emotional and spiritual too. He begins evaluating a usual climb to a summit where you are sharing the rope with another climber. As you make yourself firm, he moves ahead as he carves the hard ice with his feet, only to further fix the rope to help you inch your way up. It is a difficult climb that puts pressure on every nerve as you take a step forward. He mentions how it has been recorded by some famous climbers for having taken help from others, and how it was the only thing they needed at that moment to move forward. Else, they would have given up. It is indeed very difficult to breathe at such high altitudes and cold temperatures. It is so hard that you curse yourself for signifying up for this, and you start questioning why you undertook it at all in the first place. It pushes you to give up, and the idea of going back that looks relieving at that moment. Then almost instantly you are out of the mood. You feel something in yourself that does not let you give up, and then you move on. Your companion is always there with you. As you climb and look at the distance left, you feel as if there is no end. You and your companion both look at each other in search of motivation, and then suddenly, without even realizing it at first, you are already at the summit. As you look around once you reach the summit, you tell yourself that it was worth all the struggle and hardships that you faced on the way. You can see other peaks through the clouds, and if you are fortunate enough, there may be sunlight on them. The peaks nearby looks as a jeweled necklace around the necklace of your summit. As you look down, you can look at the vast valleys from a distance. To look down from the summit of a mountain is an honorable and enhancing experience. As you are on the top of a mountain, you bow down and pay your respects to whichever god you worship. On Everest, when the author reached with his companions, the author left a picture of Guru Nanak Dev. His fellow climbers, Rawat and Fudorji, left pictures and relics of goddess Durga and Buddha, respectively. Edmund Hillary built a cross under the heap of rocks in the snow. He mentioned that these are not symbols of accomplishment but of respect and admiration. This is because the experience of having climbed the summit changes you completely. He talks about another summit, the summit within one's own mind. He further explains how there is a mountain peak within each person's mind and how he must climb it to attain complete awareness of oneself. It is fearful and cannot be measured. What? The peak of the mind, the summit of the mind. Moreover, no one except you can climb it. Means nobody will accept that you can climb the summit of your mind. He further explains how physically climbing a mountain is similar to climbing the one within. The effects of both the climbs are also the same. It changes you completely, irrespective of the nature of climb being physical, emotional, and spiritual. It teaches you a lot about the world around you and the one inside you. The author goes about thinking that his experience as an Everester has given him both the strength and inspiration to deal with life's painful experiences with determination and firmness. Just like climbing Everest was a worthwhile experience, conquering the summit within is equally worthwhile. Moreover, internal summits are higher than the physical summit of Everest. According to HPS Ahluwalia, the the distance that you have to cover physically means the distance of the height of Mount Everest, and that method is harder than covering the method of reaching the highest peak. Means your internal summit is higher than the physical summit that you have to reach. So this was the story, and this is the summary of the story. This will help you to understand the story in brief. This is the second part, means whole. After this, some short answer type questions. These are the short answer type questions. These are some long answer type questions that may be of 80 to 100 words. You may include it as 80 to 100 words. Sixty to 80 also. So I hope this summary and explanation along with questions will help you out to understand the story. Thank you.